Right, so things have been a bit of a chaotic mess for me since I went to Rezzed over a week ago, and I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and take stock of the show and how good it was. So whilst on my channels and live streams I cover some really big games, I'm a huge fan of indie titles as well, as many of you on this channel would know. Rezzed is great because it gives a chance to explore new ideas and creatives. Indie devs tend to be a lot more adventurous and risk-taking compared to AAA devs, and I think my gaming time is split around a few AAA titles, and then I play smaller indie games around that stuff. Things like RimWorld, that game was quite a small affair until it started to explode because it's quite very awesome. Prison Architect, that's another one. Or even Excellent Big Pharma, which I covered previously. It's a really, really good game. I haven't done tons of content about that, but I should, because it's a really good game. There are a ton of great indie games out there, and Rezzed is an opportunity to get in and speak to the guys who are actually making those games. At huge events, the devs are sometimes they're on hand, but you would be surprised how often they just hire in actually event companies to manage the title at the show, and they maybe have just one or two representatives, and maybe they're not even devs, maybe they might be on the sort of production side or whatever, so you never know who you're really going to get to speak to. Not to mention the huge queues that you have at big shows. This is something which you don't really get at an indie show. You can get hands-on and usually find someone to speak to at any stand, and usually a developer, usually the guys who are literally physically making the game themselves. And for me as a producer, I just find it a really exciting experience, because so often when you come and speak to a dev, they'll listen to your ideas, but I find that when you go to an indie event, they're much more on board. They really want to sort of hear from your ideas, and not just from producers, but from anybody who goes. All the people that are there, they want to hear from what people want to see, their concepts, their thoughts, their suggestions, their speculations. They take that stuff on board, they go back, they think about it, they bring it together, and hopefully it helps them to put out a much stronger title. At the show itself, I saw a ton of games, but to just rattle through the ones I enjoyed, I think there's about like 150 games there. That was a massive amount, and it just gives you a huge range of things to go and check out and enjoy. But yeah, the ones I really liked were Snake Pass, Tokyo 42, Turing Test, Goetia, Expeditions Viking, Aero, Carmageddon Max Damage, Last Fight, Oh My Godheads, Postal Redux, Robocraft, Adventure on Clover Island, Super Arcade Football, Tabletop Racing, World Tour, and Tokyo Dark. So I'm going to give you a rundown of some of the games that I saw at Rezzed, and I'm going to do this through a few short videos after this, just to give a heads up of what they were and what to expect, because a lot of these are very, very much in production. There's a lot more to come, and the details are often fairly sparse about them. Some of the games I'm waiting on also is further footage, either even a dev build to play on, or for the guys to just actually send me some B-roll footage so I can make a video there. Rezzed, it's a really exciting show, and it's good to be in a more personal environment, like I say, where the devs are really happy to not just talk about their games, but actually speculate on what they could do with the game. You rarely get that with big devs, because they're locked into contracts, legal NDAs about what they can and can't speak about, or even what the marketing and the publisher want to reveal at certain times. Another great thing down at this show, though, was Square Enix, who have been working with some selected indie devs to help produce their games. Now, this was something that I thought was a really great concept, and it's something that, the cynical person might take as like big companies trying to muscle in on like indie devs. But from the people I spoke to, and I've got an interview coming up about that, that is not the impression that I had at all. I think it's a really good idea, because I think often with indie games the devs are really passionate, they have great ideas, but sometimes they need that support arch to help bring the game to where it needs to be and then help deliver it at release. As I said, I've got an interview with Phil, who's heading up the Square Enix Collective team, and that's going to be coming soon. So loads more content to come about this stuff, guys. I'm really excited about some of the titles that are continuing in development for release in 2016-17. If you've never been to Rezzed and want to see what it's all about, there's a link down in the notes. I would definitely recommend checking it out in 2017 if you live in the UK. Thanks for watching, guys, and all of the stuff about the games that I've seen coming up very soon.